Hello and welcome back to Nancy Spoonful of Goodness. Today I'm so excited to be sharing with you finally with popular demand and popular request from all my friends, the Lumpia Shanghai. The lumpia is a fusion of Chinese, Indonesian, Philippine dish that's been brought into the Philippines by Chinese traders way back in the pre-colonial era. And ever since, I guess, it's been such a popular dish. Anytime you go to a party, this would be there as an hors d'oeuvre, or if you know a Filipino, this would be the most requested dish that they bring if there's a celebration. And a lot of my friends know this for a fact. It is a 3-ingredient, pretty much: your meat, your veggies, and your wrapper. The wrapper is, of course, in the Asian store, the freezer section. Be careful when you're buying the wrapper. They come in different sizes. Make sure you get the appropriate size, because if it's too big, you end up cutting them. If it's too small, you don't fit. So pretty much the medium size. This lumpia dish has several variations. The spring roll, or the egg roll, that is very famous when you order Chinese food. That is the lumpia that has pretty much all veggies. But this one, the Shanghai, has some meat, and there's also lumpia that is not fried, that the wrapper is edible as it is, but this is not the kind of wrapper. But for the purpose of this presentation, we'll call this the Lumpia Shanghai. As I said, you have your 3 basic ingredients: your meat, and I've experimented on this so many times. I've done half beef, all pork, half beef. But I find that the Italian seasoned meat, and they come in sweet, medium, and spicy, is really the best to work with. So I got that right now. I have the sweet, and that's a pound. You have always put celery, because the celery has kind of like the oniony taste, and carrots. I'll show you how I start with this. These are already pre-diced, tiny dicing, and the carrots are pre-diced. There's 2 ways to do it: the long way, which is the chopping, and I'm used to that, and I do love the chopping. And also there's the short way, or the faster way, which is using the food processor. I love to add cilantro, but then again, if you are sensitive to cilantro, you can switch to parsley. I use egg white to as like a paste, a sealing paste, when I'm doing the wrapping, and I'll go through that whole phase later. Onion powder, to me, is like the magic seasoning, and you don't even need, if you're using the Italian seasoned meat, then you don't pretty much need a lot of seasoning. And this is just so that I can complement the seasoning for the veggies that I'm going to combine with this. So we are going to go through the fast route with using the food processor. I've already put my carrots in here. I buy these carrots that are like string carrots. They're called matchstick carrots, to make it easy rather than starting with a whole carrot entirely. So I usually use like a half a package of this. I'll put some in here, and then I basically cut up some celery sticks to add in here. And so the only thing I haven't added in here is my cilantro. So I'm going to add that. I pretty much just cut it up, sliced it a little bit down so it's not all entire carrots. And we're gonna give it a couple of pulses. Like I said, I'm used to, and I love doing this the long way, cutting, because I find that pulsing this kind of takes a lot. Okay, let's see how this little fancy machine compares to my chopping. So as you can see, there's still like big pieces, and I'm just gonna pick through that and not include that, because when you wrap it with the meat, it really is good to have that tiny little consistency of the veggies so that it blends well with the meat rather than having big lumps of veggies in there. So I think my chopping does a little bit better than this machine. All right, so we're gonna mix the meat. So we are going to transfer this processed mix of veggies, your cilantro, your celery into our meat. I think I put too much veggies in here. All right, just mix this around with usually need a good sturdy spoon to mix this. Let me get this out of the way so you all can see. If you feel like you need to go in here and just use your hands to make a really good mix, you can do that. Onion powder. Not too salty, so you could be generous. And I don't think I put enough cilantro, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. So just take a second. I love a lot of cilantro in my lumpia. I am just going to use my hands with this. Want to see if I put enough veggies in here, because I have pretty much used 2 cups of that finely diced carrots, 2 cups of that finely diced celery. And it's hard to say 2 cups of that because if you're gonna do in the processor, you don't really know how much you're yielding. So I will add, so what I did was I pretty much put a lot and then I'll just play it by ear how much I'm going to add in here. The ratio of meat to veggie mixture, it's kind of hard to determine, but my rule is pretty much 2 cups and then 2 cups of cilantro or parsley per 1 pound of meat. So after I've added all of the processed veggies, the cilantro, the celery, and carrots, I pretty much make sure it's well mixed and added your spice, whatever spices you want. Like I usually go for the onion powder, and this is what you finally get, like a big mush. And I am going to show you now how I go about the wrapping. Like I said, I have the egg white to use like a paste. And I have this little kitchen brush. So you take one wrapper, okay, in a triangle. So you're gonna have like a spoon full of this mixture, and you spread it with your hands, I guess. And you pretty much spread it to the middle of your wrapping. And then I go like this, and I scooch the meat mixture, pretty much leave a little extra space there on the ends, and you just like paint the triangular end to help seal it better. You fold one corner in and the other corner in, and this is what you have, and you roll it all the way out. So you get this. Out of this mixture, you'll probably come up with 50 or 75 of these. And then when I fry it, just so the oil can drain off really nicely, I cut it in half and let it stand out as I'm draining. Okay, I'll make another one. Pretty much spread it out a little bit. You paint the edge, just the triangular edge, not this other because this one is going to be your fold in. Okay, and then fold this left and fold this right, and you have this to roll. It's nice to make it tight, and like I said, the more you do this, the better you're gonna feel about it, and more comfortable you're gonna feel about it. If it's too loose, when you fry it, it all comes apart. Make a third one. So when I make this, I pretty much make a huge batch, and they freeze very, very well. They stay in your freezer for a good 2 to 3 months, but mine never really stays that long because it's the best gift to give out to friends, because you can give them a batch of frozen lumpia and they fry it themselves, and this is really great to eat when they're still hot. So this process is pretty much just your basic frying. I'm going to show you what it actually looks like after it's been fried. And when I fry, I use just vegetable oil for this, and not too full. Don't fill it up too much, just a little so that it's actually partially immersed. So I think I'm gonna add a little bit to this. And have in hand already your strainer with paper towels so that you can absorb some of the oil out as you're trying to get them out of the pan. Okay, I think this is ready, probably. We'll put one to test. There's no much sizzle. And you want to do this slow because this is actually raw meat. So you don't want to fry it too fast so that it looks like burn on the outside, and on the inside when people eat it, it's not that cooked yet. So you want to go kind of like low to medium, or medium, never high. Okay, so you can see here now how it's turning a little bit of a brown color. Like I said, you don't want a burn on the outside because then you'll have a burnt wrapper and the inside is not fully cooked. So I turn them as I see that they're kind of brown on this side and brown on the other side too, is what I'm aiming for. Turn my heat a little bit low. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to prepare like a dipping. And usually at the Asian store, you'll find a dipping sauce that is specific for this, which is kind of like a sweet, tangy dipping sauce, but I'm all out of that. So I like ketchup, or you can have hot sauce, or you can have ketchup with hot sauce, or just plain hot sauce. This should be, this first one that I put in should be getting, see how this color, it's like kind of golden brown almost all around. I'll give it another twirl on the other side, a little bit. I want this at low and evenly cooked, and totally cooked for sure. So here you have your fried lumpia, and pretty much the last step I do after I've drained them on that one side is to cut them in half, diagonal always, because it makes it look prettier, and plus the draining process is a little bit better, more efficient when it's diagonal cut like that. So what you come up with is this one, and you just pretty much place them around your dipping sauce like so, and serve. If you have questions or comments about this recipe, drop me a line below. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe.